Welcome to the Joy Fueled Resilient Woman podcast. I'm Dr. Phyllis, your host. How's your week been? You have been on my mind, in my prayers, in my thoughts, in my heart over this past week. And today, I just want to celebrate you. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being the resilient woman that you are. I see you. I see how every day you get up, you are running constantly, seeing about everyone, looking at your to do list, doing your best to meet all your roles and responsibilities, and trying to make life better for everyone else. I also see you in those days when you feel like that to-do list and the expectations are just mounting. It seems like you never get ahead. It seems like every time you look around, there's something new, almost to the point that you're on edge of what's going to come next. And yes, there's even mornings where maybe you want to just crawl up in a ball and pull the covers over your head, yet deep within you, you are compelled that you got to keep going. I celebrate you, sis. And I want you, if you're getting ready for work, if you are dropping the kids off and listening, if you've already dropped them off, or if you've spent all night caring for a loved one and you're in transition back to your home to get ready for the day, or you're in the midst of work, you are in your office just trying to get your head together for the day, or maybe you're taking that morning of reflection to get ready for the day, or maybe it's the end of the day and you just want to tap in. I appreciate you. And I thank you for being a part of this movement that we are starting of resilient Christian women who want to go from being fueled by to do, being fueled by running around, and flip that into, yes, embracing your superpower of resilience that God has created you for, but also giving yourself permission to find joy. I just want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate you. You are the true Esther. God has created you for a time such as this. And you can't help yourself. That's just who He's made you. And yes, there are times when you just wish you could take that cape off, take that title off, or just not care. But that's not who God has created you for. And how do I know? Because I'm like you, created to be an Esther, created to be a resilient woman who cares. And God has poured in you, as in me, with gifts and a calling to serve and to care, to be a problem solver. and to enjoy the puzzles of life. I was the one who, oh my gosh, I love doing word searches. I love doing puzzles, putting jigsaw puzzles, loved reading mysteries and figuring out the answer. And I think that is part of what led me to medicine, was wanting to serve and wanting to care and wanting to help and wanting to figure things out and help people find clarity. And I see it similarly in women leaders like you, teachers like you. As I've shared, both of my parents were educators, and I saw them daily exercising the same traits of wanting to make life better, wanting to take their own life experiences and helping someone else come along and feel that same accomplishment or overcoming the odds, getting to the other side of that challenge. And sis, you got this. You got this. And I think the biggest challenge that one of the biggest challenges that you will face is first embracing the way you're created. Stop trying to fight it. Stop trying to fight that God has created you with a big heart to care. Because there's nothing wrong with caring. There's nothing wrong with serving. It's nothing wrong with wanting to empower and to see those that are invisible. There's nothing wrong with it. Will it always be appreciated? No. Will it be misunderstood? Yes, it will be misunderstood. Yet, don't try to fight who God has created you to be. What I want you to focus on is how can you be the best steward of who God has created you to be, the gifts, the skills that He has poured into you, being the best steward that you can, which means knowing how to manage who you are, your superpower of being resilient with all these the skills of the big heart that pushes through and is able to make it through life's challenges, ups and downs and sideways, while also not negating, ignoring, sacrificing your ongoing personal development, growth, enrichment, and especially joy. That's the big thing because you got it. You know how to serve. You know how to go the extra mile. You got that. Yet what do you do when you reach a point? It could be it could be multiple causes of how you get to that crossroads, which I called in my life the Forrest Gump moment. If you've ever seen that movie Forrest Gump, where he is running, life is, hit a snag and he just starts tearing out running. And he just runs, 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 runs. And then he reaches a point where he's tired of running. And he knows that he has to go back. and he needs to show up and face life in a different way. And that's so true. And so there can be different reasons that you have that Forrest Gump moment. It could be a death of someone significant in your life. It could be the end of a relationship. It could be you're just not satisfied at your job. It's maybe there's been workplace drama, or you've just hit the ceiling in that job and you're no longer growing. Maybe you've poured so many years into your kids, but now they're reaching a point where they're growing up and you're having to start looking at, okay, what's for you in this next season of life? Or maybe that job no longer fulfills you and you don't feel like you're growing. You've kind of been there, done that, and seen everything. So now you're trying to figure out, what do I do next? And for a resilient woman as you've been so used to pushing and reacting to needs, to emergencies or expectations or the next thing, that it's very difficult to know how to now incorporate your own personal development and joy. It was one thing when you were in school, be it academic training or professional training, getting your trade down. You were you knew what the requirements were to get this certificate or degree, and then you went to the next. And in your job, maybe it was like a new certification that was available, so you did that, or another training. You went for the next promotion. But now you're at that point that, again, you've hit that ceiling. And you need to continue to grow so you can continue to live life without regrets. But it's hard to know how to make that shift and take that same resilient spirit where you have beaten the odds and carried all the burdens and fixed everything. Now you have to look at, how do you incorporate taking some of that same tenacity, that same energy, and focus it on you, so that you continue to grow. That's the challenge. Because often you will feel guilty. You feel guilty because you feel like, on one hand, oh, you have it all, you've done it all. So why are you still wanting to continue to grow? You think something's wrong with you, and I'm here to tell you nothing's wrong with you. Okay? But now you have to try to figure out, okay, am I selfish by wanting to do for myself now? Because maybe when you were growing up, you didn't see that in your mother or the other significant women in your life. Or maybe you didn't see that in another significant adult in your life. Maybe you feel, as I said, guilty if you start looking at what your needs are, or acknowledging that you've outgrown your current situation. So now that is a major mind shift that you have to go through, to go from what's become just autopilot, right? In terms of meeting everybody else's needs, but to do the mind work, the spirit work, the physical work, to tap into now what really is important to you. And what is it that you really want to see your life look like? That's the challenge. And that's why I'm here as your coach, because I want to help you make that. It's not so much a shift. It is a shift. It is a mind shift. Yet, really, all of this has been in you. but it's been buried, percolating. All those skills and those gifts have been there. You've been using them for other people, which has brought you happiness in certain phases of life, and you're happy. But now we have to create and help you tap in and help you recognize some joy, which comes through personal development and continuing to grow as a person, as an individual woman, so that what now fuels your resilience, where before your resilience was meeting those other people's needs, keeping it going, keeping everyone empowered, keeping everybody inspired, to now, and let me back up, which that, right, pushing through for everybody else has left you at risk of feeling depleted because you're just giving out and you're not replenishing. Maybe you're taking some days off here and there, but you're so exhausted you just kind of pass out, right? But yet you're then back on the hamster wheel of the treadmill when you go back to your routine. But now we have to go from being fueled by reaction, as I say, reacting to everything and running and doing, to now fueling your resilience with joy, with being able to see how all of this is in God's plan. And He never meant for you to get stagnant or complacent in the doing. All of this is preparing you. But now it's time for you to fuel that resilience with joy. And that is what is going to help you feel less depleted, less resentful and edgy and stagnant. Because for resilient women, you, Esther, just like me, we are Esther women, we are resilient women. We don't do well. You don't do well feeling stuck and stagnant. But in the past, what would you do? You go and look for the next project to get involved with or the next promotion to go for, right? All of this is external, right? And I told you, I know, because that had been my life until I did the inner work. When life hit the crossroads, I began to do the work so that I could really step back and put life in the right perspective, and realizing I don't want to live a life so that I get to the end of my life with a whole bunch of regrets. And I had to do the work to really figure out not just what made me happy, that fleeting, right, transient emotion, to what brought me joy. And that meant a lot, looking in the mirror. And it can be hard when you're in your 40s and older, because don't you feel like, "Oh, I should know it all. I'm arrived." No. It's just getting good, right? This is the time. This is your time. So I want to celebrate you, number 1. And I want you to embrace who you are. Even when your resilience may not always be acknowledged, excuse me, be acknowledged, or That's okay. And we're keeping it in because Satan's trying to get busy. But we are not going to let him have the victory here. I want you to feel acknowledged by me. I had to pause for a minute and go and cough and come back. And as I said, Satan will try to get busy, but we're not going to let him have the victory. So I went off for a minute, coughed, and now I'm back. So I want you today to know I see you and you're not alone, because as I have shared with you before, not everyone will get you. Not everyone will sense how you're feeling. They won't. You must first stop and celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. God created you with a purpose. He created you with a big heart and he sees you. I see you. I see everything that you do for everyone else. I see you covering everybody at work. I see you going the extra mile to call that client back or that patient back or call that parent back when maybe someone else wouldn't call them, your teacher. Or as I said, you're in the healthcare, you go the extra mile for that patient or family. Your work in the service industry and you go the extra mile for that customer. I see you serving. I see you, my sister who is the barista who's helping someone get that morning coffee or get that morning breakfast, and they come in with attitude and you're still trying to just go the extra mile. I see you. I see you as the keeper of the family legacy. I see you caregiving. I see you existing on 3 and 4 hours of sleep every day as you're just trying to keep it going. And I also know that where you're at right now is just one part of your story. And your resilience is, yes, it is your superpower. And don't let anyone make you feel bad about it. And don't let yourself, due to fatigue or due to maybe not being a good steward of how you use your energy and with whom that you use your energy, leave you resenting your superpower. Because as we began today, your big heart, your heart for service and for caring and for undergirding and empowering other people is not the issue. The opportunity is for you to become a better steward of your superpower so that you can make that shift to infusing some joy by adding in your own personal development, by reconnecting with some of those deep down passions that maybe you for different reasons you just couldn't do a few years back, but now's the time. Now is the time. This is your time, sis. And just like Esther, you are made for the time such as this. And as we are beginning to get near the end of 2024, I want you to start thinking about what is it that you have been putting on the shelf? What passion, what activity or adventure or skill that you've always said, I always wanted to do that. Do it. This is the time. And I'm here to help you and support you and help you give yourself permission that there's no time. There's going to be no perfect time to do it, such as now. I hope that today's episode, even in the midst of Satan trying to get busy and make me cough, has been helpful to you. And I want to ask you if this has been helpful to share it with someone else. And let's grow this joy fueled, resilient woman community. And I will see you next week. I love you. I see you. I honor you. Take care now. Bye.